Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Larson. It's me, Dexter Loomis, NXT Superstar. So here's my shout out to the Going In Raw podcast. Clever name.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We've been talking injuries in the pre-show, what our worst injuries are. Larson almost had an eye taken out, but not quite. And then I have a perpetually broken toe. So you learn something new every day when we do our every recap.
People here in our Twitch chat sharing their own worst injuries, and some of them don't look like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, Ed Fries with the baseball incident, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, this Sunday, of course, is Hell in a Cell. We're going to be there not there. We're not going to be in Thunderdome. We're going to be on the YouTube doing our live reactions. And then right after that, we'll switch over to the Twitch for our live recaps. But today we're talking NXT, where Pat McAfee made his huge return.
I guess we should have seen this coming, huh?
Which on one hand, so he was totally going to be the guy paying Ridge Holland. Like that should have been.
And I wonder if the plan always was Lorcan Burch Holland with McAfee taking on Undisputed Era at War Games at some point.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. He'll get another guy though. You'd think he'd probably get another guy, assuming they can do. I would think that one of the conditions of moving NXT to the Capitol Wrestling Center would be the ability to have, to War Games. They can shuffle things around, I would think.
Yeah, you'd think at least the Performance Center is Capitol Wrestling Center now, that they'd have the ability to, we don't want this panel of Thunderdome LEDs gone. Move some things around, maybe fit a second ring, because that space at one point had 6 rings in it? That's the main space with all the rings and stuff. So they could fit.
You're right. It looks so much smaller the way they've decked it out. You're right, though.
Yeah.
It was huge before.
Yeah. So, I suppose it's a possibility. They'll have to rearrange some things, but I guess if they want to do a War Games match for the next takeover in December, I guess
McAfee is one of those guys who, I'm trying to think of a parallel. I'm probably always going to be entertained by what he does. Not necessarily excited to see him, though.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm thoroughly excited, maybe most excited, for the idea that Lorcan and Burch, two guys who are hard workers, who have been putting in the grind for such a long time.
Really good matches for a long time, yeah.
Really good. Only Lorcan, you can't watch one of his matches and be bored at all. He's so much fun to watch. Burch has been around since the medieval times. He's forever years old. And these guys, through one of these episodes where there's twists and turns, they end up taking these titles, being part of an A-level story. I'm so excited for them.
Agreed.
And I'll be interested to see if they do bring on a fourth man, brother. But yeah, Pat McAfee, again, it's weird. I'm entertained by the guy. I just don't care to see him. But
agreed, 100%. 100%, because he showed up.
I was going to say, maybe this will change that.
Well, maybe it will. But I don't foresee this leading to, in terms of what he's going to do, being a whole lot different than what he did against Adam Cole, which by and large was fine.
It was entertaining.
Fine. It was entertaining, but again, I'm with you. It's you could be entertained by someone. They show up, you're like, oh, all right, well, okay.
Let me ask you, is it because, I think it's two things. And this is just me as a general wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer people who I know are going to be around and who excite me with their wrestling matches. That's one big thing. Well, that's the two things. It's somebody who I know doesn't have to be carried to a match. So somebody who probably has a lot of experience wrestling. And number two, I know they're committed to the company.
Yeah.
And neither of those things do Pat McAfee fill. I think that he's committed to the company when he's going to be there. But like he has said in his own promo, he's got 8 different revenue streams. So his time is obviously going to be split. He's not a full-time wrestler. I, as a fan, always have a hard time getting into something like that. Maybe the exception was kind of Ronda Rousey, who I knew had signed a contract to be there, and she seemed to be committed to TV, to house shows, to all that stuff.
The thing is I think she made the commitment to herself is that for the first year, I'm going to dive in the deep end and be a professional wrestler through and through. Then, if I enjoy it thereafter, I'll do it more. If not, I'll step away. And so for that first year, she was committed 100%. She was doing house shows. She might not have been doing the whole 250 shows a year, but she was doing house shows, most TVs. But yeah, with Pat McAfee, that's not the case. And also with Ronda Rousey, you could tell that she worked hard to become a decent pro wrestler. She could put on some fun matches.
Yeah.
And the sample size with McAfee is pretty small. He had that one bout against Adam Cole, which was fine. It was entertaining. Is that probably the extent of what he'll be able to do? I mean, barring like a serious dedication to training a lot. Yeah. Is he gonna, if the War Games thing comes to fruition and he gets in that cage, is something tells me he would be totally cool climbing the top of that and jumping off.
Yeah.
Which would be a good spot, but stringing together good spots does not a great pro wrestler make.
I think for you and I don't mean to speak for you, but you and I have both talked about the virtue of long-term booking, and for that I don't mean month to month. I like stories to venture back around to things a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. When people have history. And to see a wrestler on the grind, putting in the work every single day, every single show on the house show circuit, I mean, that doesn't exist anymore, but you know what I mean? There's so much more of a satisfaction there than sort of a moonlighter, no matter how enthusiastic that moonlighter is. So when I think of Lorcan and Burch getting this spotlight, therein lies the silver lining,
Yeah. There is. Yeah, totally. And maybe, if they expand their ranks, this new faction, find somebody who could fill in for Ridge Holland for the next year, because that's probably about how long Ridge Holland's going to be out, given the extent of his injuries, because they were numerous. They get their own 4-man squad, go on against Undisputed Era for the next month and a half. It could be fun.
Yeah, it totally could be, yeah.
Especially if whoever they pick for the singles wrestler is someone that could, is someone that's pretty good, pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, for all we know, maybe McAfee could be the guy that launches them. They turn into whoever if there's going to be a fourth guy, that ends up being a formidable trio that can carry the story until he comes back around for more stuff. That's a possibility. So yeah. I think my thing was, and this is entirely on me, last night on Twitter, I spoiled that main event outcome for myself. If I hadn't seen that, I probably would have been marked out a bit more, and my reaction would be different. Maybe even the way I'm talking about it right now might be different. Unfortunately, I did spoil it for myself, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm the same camp. I saw what happened. I mean, it's hard not to. Because NXT is certainly not shy about posting spoilers and such on their Twitters. Yeah.
So let's just hop into it. I thought NXT was pretty fun last night. There was some fun. It was more like little things that happened as opposed to, I mean, there was that big thing at the end, but a bunch of little things, and they did manage to weave that narrative that led to the main event. I always appreciate when any wrestling show can do that.
They managed to tell a story throughout the duration of its length. Yes,
it did open up with a match that I feel like this Kushida versus Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa. It's all people that had just been floating around, and they happened to just enter into the orbit, as opposed to them actually vying for a thing that they care about.
Well, Kushida and Dream actually had a feud that actually had a little bit of substance behind it. And then Ciampa just eats a wayward double axe handle, and suddenly he's brought into it as well. But now, based on what happens in this match, it seems like Ciampa and Dream might be going in their own direction.
Yeah.
And Kushida, he's going to move on from it.
Yeah.
Because the finish saw Velveteen Dream. He still has this obviously fake cast because half of it was falling apart during the course of the match. He clubs Ciampa with it. And then Kushida hits a German suplex on Ciampa to get the win. Meanwhile, Dream's just laying on the floor kind of laughing about it. He could, if he cared about winning the match, he could have got in there and broke up that pin.
Yeah.
I think he was just more concerned with trying to jack with Ciampa.
Yeah.
At that point, at least, as opposed to get the win. Because now Kushida, he seems done with all that. He'll probably be moving on. We're going to get more between Dream and Ciampa, it seems like.
Yeah, that could be the case. It'd be interesting to see who Kushida targets next in his quest to do whatever it is he's
remain
doing.
relevant, because NXT has not done a good job of keeping him relevant.
Yeah, I didn't even give this one the stars. I'll give this 2 3/4
It was
stars.
fun. It was a fun match.
I mean, most of the matches were actually pretty damn good last night. I really loved the Austin Theory series. But so after that, we had an Adam Cole distance learning promo with Undisputed Era in attendance. Adam Cole was on an iPad. The other 3 guys were there, and they talk about, basically, they just talk about, Adam Cole says, I'm still healing up, but I'll be back. Then the Fish and Strong talk about Breezango getting those tag titles back. Kyle O'Reilly talks a little bit about the prophecy further.
They had that iPad set up in some sort of a stand.
Yeah.
They should have found. Yes, some sort of robot. And maybe some sort of RoboCop 2 style fashion.
Yeah.
Have Adam Cole's head on the iPad atop that.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I think that'd been ideal.
What didn't the Rocky 4 robot, didn't that have like a view screen of some sort?
Did it?
I know Johnny 5 didn't. But
No.
I don't know if the Rocky 4 robot
I don't think
did
that one did.
Probably not.
I don't think that one did.
They should
That's
have had Rocky
mid-80s.
Balboa
That's
doing
kind of beyond mid-80s technology. You have a whole like little small cathode ray TV atop a
that's
robot
what it
body.
been, yeah.
That's probably quite a bit.
Yeah, maybe. I think it had eyes. So after that, we had Ember Moon versus Jessie Kamea. Commentary was selling that Ember Moon.
Wait, hold on.
Did it? Was there a scene?
It just had huge eyes.
Okay. All right. The big guy here in chat says no, it didn't. Is that Ryback? Is Ryback in our chat? Wouldn't that be great if Ryback was like a total Rocky aficionado and he was in our chat and he was correcting us on the robot from Rocky
Didn't he follow
4?
us on Twitter for a while?
Yeah. He might still have. I don't know. Anyways, so after that, we had Ember Moon versus Jessie Kamea. Took a little while for Ember Moon to put Jessie Kamea away. Commentary was chalking that up to her ring rust. I was glad they gave Jessie a little bit of offense, though. That was nice.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. The Eclipse is like one of the best finishers in all of wrestling. Don't get me wrong, but I was actually pretty happy they were allowing Ember was making the point of showing off her mat wrestling skills, because especially that second submission she did, I was like, wow, that was pretty great. It was kind of like an STF, but it was like she had the legs up, pinned under her higher up than like a traditional STF, and like was really cranking back on the neck. It looked great.
I feel like she was taking Thatch As Thatch Can lessons.
Could be.
And you're right. It's funny. We were talking about this, like, I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago, saying, yeah, they probably should let her have some other finish, and the Eclipse would be like the big finish. But yeah, this was great. Submission, it's great. Nobody really gets hurt. Feet on the floor.
Not a whole lot of impact on the tailbone repeatedly, because that's, as we've seen with numerous wrestlers over the year, that's when you get serious back troubles.
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
So after the match, Ember Moon's celebrating her win. Dakota Kai attacks her, kicks her in the face, tells Moon if she thinks she can use her to get back in the spotlight, think again. We go backstage, Undisputed Era and some trainers and NXT officials trying to help out Bob Fish. He talks about how someone attacked him from behind and he can't put weight on his leg. So as we get to Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed, match 1, we get a medical update from Mackenzie Mitchell. Says Bob Fish is on his way to the hospital to get MRI on knee. He's out. The recently cleared Kyle O'Reilly will take his place in the tag team bout main event tonight, which is cool because I kind of feel like the best version of Undisputed Era tag team is Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly.
I know. I was excited about that. I totally agree with that. So after that, we had the first of 2 matches, Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed. The first one was mildly competitive.
Bronson Reed more or less still ate him alive, though.
Yeah, pretty much. He ended up winning with he was up on top, and Austin Theory, like a fool, just kept on trying to confront him up there, and he just flicked him off. And Bronson Reed won with that splash of his. What is it? They has a name for it, I think. I forget what it is. Anyways,
Tsunami.
Tsunami. Thank you. Is that sure? That works.
I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Cool sounding name. So yeah, that's the new name. So Bronson Reed's like, okay, easy day at the office, time to hit catering. He's leaving. Austin Theory gets on the mic and pulls that Dolph Ziggler from that one time he did that thing with gold. Was it Goldberg? Yeah, it was Goldberg.
Yeah, it was Goldberg. Yeah.
That was good stuff.
That was pretty funny.
Austin Theory, he's like, no, stop where you are. I am the future of NXT, the future of WWE. I've done more at the age of 22 or 3 or whatever than Reed did his entire 15 years in the business. Let's get back in here until I beat you. So he wants to keep at it until he gets a win. Bronson Reed obliges, gets in the ring for match 2. This lasts all of like 10 seconds. Reed hits him with a Samoa drop to get the pin there. So Austin racks up another 2 losses on this episode of NXT.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then later on, he quits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, later on. We'll just get to that now. It's during commercial. He's going to his rental car. They're like, hey, Austin Theory, what's going on? And he said, I quit. So he rage quitted his
done.
career.
I quit.
Yeah.
Good. Get out of there. Bye, Austin Theory.
Bye, Austin Theory. Go away.
In theory, he's quit. After that, we get a Xia Li, Kacy Catanzaro interview. Xia Li is talking about how important this match is for how she cannot lose it. And then Kacy was asked, why did you offer up to be her opponent tonight? And Kacy says, yeah, we've had our differences recently, but Xia has always been a friend in the past, and I'm always up for a challenge. And then again, Xia says, I can't lose this match. This is like the most important match of my career. I have to win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's when after that, Austin Theory quits. And then we had a pretty great match between Legado del Fantasma taking on Jake Atlas, Ashante the Adonis, and Swerve.
This was so much fun. This was really
Apart
fun
from
stuff.
Jake Atlas almost landing on his head.
He had lots of bodies under him to brace him.
Watch that landing again. Watch that landing. Not just landing on his head, but landing on his head like this.
Yeah, I know. That was he was pretty lucky on that one. Man, I'll just bring this up now because I was sort of, me. I was paying attention. Some matches I pay like too much attention to. Like I get all the details. Some I don't. The tag match last night at AEW was not. So I didn't get the full width and breadth of just how bad that Reynolds spot was.
I didn't notice it at all. I didn't notice it at all. And people afterwards like, oh, Alex Reynolds was knocked out. And I was like, when?
I saw that before we went live. And so I was looking for the video of it to see how bad it was. If I had known, and I mean, we're not the only ones. Like Brian Zane mentioned it. Yeah, he was like, oh, I missed this. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a huge oversight on the hands of the ref there.
Like, I thought the Phoenix bit was bad, but he looked dead. Like, it was like they were in there wrestling with a dead guy. Like, around him.
I know. And here's the thing. Like, I understand John Silver went and pulled Reynolds over to his corner to get the tag in, probably thinking, oh, he's out. I got to get him out of here.
Okay,
well,
hold on.
If you're dealing with a potential head issue, you don't want to move that person, period.
See, like, here's the thing. I am almost positive it was... Hold on, let me double check.
I watched it this morning. So he's out, and there's a cover attempt. It gets broken up, I think, by Silver, and then Silver pulls Reynolds over to their corner.
I thought it was the Blade who pulled him over there. Yeah, it's the Blade.
Oh, it's Blade. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, thank God. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's fucking awesome of him, not thinking about, okay, I'm supposed to be in character. Why would I do this? No, he went over there.
Well, he pulled him over to his corner and then tagged himself in. So, I mean,
in
terms of the match, it made sense.
Yeah.
But also, hopefully, he did it to make sure dude was okay.
Yeah. So anyways, getting back to NXT. Yeah, they need to do something about their rest. I mean, even from a fan perspective, from a visual perspective, it's like, y'all need to do a little bit better,
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, there was that Spanish Fly. I did love the bit where Santos was on the outside just gloating and laughing, and then Atlas used the commentary table to hit his cartwheel DDT.
That was great.
Rad.
Jake Atlas had a really good performance in this match.
Fantastic.
He was coming out with a lot more intensity. He was probably the standout in this particular bout. But it actually was that spot. So he hit that cartwheel DDT on Santos, and he's over there talking crap to him. See, I could do this. I could do good things. That's not what he said. I'm going to be next cruiserweight champion. Meanwhile, Ashanti, the Adonis, is getting hit with Legato's finish, taking the L, and then Atlas gets in there late and is like, darn it.
That foot hit Ashanti's face so flush. I had to rewind. I was like, oh my God, you didn't need to kick your leg on that one, dude. You didn't need to do that because that looked nasty. But yeah, wildly fun match. Really good stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
After that,
it was all over the place too.
Yeah, it was. The Garganos at home fretting about the upcoming Halloween Havoc spin the wheel, make a deal. What was this? I know I'm going to kick myself. Gargano says, everybody knows I hate wheels.
He just said it last week after the spin the wheel was announced. He's on the top of the ramp. It's like, I hate wheels.
Okay, so it's just a new thing that he's doing.
It's just a new joke, yeah.
I was like, is he referencing like something in his Ciampa feud that like
last week.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if I was missing a reference there.
Just last week.
So anyways, they have a training wheel, which is just a really small, it's like a 1/8 size version of the actual spin the wheel digital wheel. And so they are going to test it out and see, they're going to do some simulations here, see what pops up. So the first one, they try it, and Gargano comes up with a buried alive match. And he's like, oh, this is terrible. Why would I want to be buried? Like that? I'm going to die in this. You know, I'm alive. No, don't bury me.
Yeah, and the Candace spin, she gets a street fight. She's happy.
She's won a street fight.
She says, I'm undefeated in street fights.
Yes, exactly.
And so Johnny's like, all right, I'll spin it again. Casket match. It's like he's like, why does this wheel want me dead?
Why does this wheel want me dead?
He says, can't control anything. Everything with this is outside of my control. I hate wheels. I'm done. I'm going to bed. He storms off.
That little tantrum he threw at the end reminded me so much of if Hilton was acting in this spot.
Oh gosh,
it was a very Hilton-esque performance.
If he could have hung up on the wheel, he would have done it.
Exactly. After that, we had some more developments in the Killian Dain Drake Maverick tag team. I thought this was hilarious. So Killian Dain and Drake Maverick take on Everrise. Again. At the start of the match, Everrise has Drake completely isolated. One of the Chase sort of taunts Killian Dain. Chase gets Drake up, who manages to get sort of a tag into Dain unbeknownst to Chase. Dain goes on a roll. Martel's on the outside taunting Drake. He's sort of holding him, watching as Chase has Dain in like a half crab type situation. Drake sort of loses his cool, pushes Martel off him, goes to get a chair, kills Martel with the chair, gets in the ring, kills Chase with the chair. Ref calls it DQ, and he just starts wailing away on everybody till they run away. He puts the chair down. He starts to cool down. Dain gets up, and he sort of stalks over to Drake, and Drake's like, come on, just go ahead and punch me. I know what you're going to do. We lost the match. Go ahead and punch me. And Dain just marks out completely. He says, oh, my God, this was the greatest thing ever. Where has this been? Where has this killer been? I love this. This is the greatest thing ever. So then the music, their silly pop candy music pops on. Drake starts goading Dain into dancing. Dain looks very nervous and says, no, I'm not going to do it. So he leaves.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
This will happen, though. This is totally going to happen.
Yeah, probably. I know. Killing Dain is going to do that dance.
It'll be great.
Next backstage, Roddy has been laid out. We go to commercial. We come back. We got Regal in the middle. On one side, we got Kyle O'Reilly and Breezango. The other side, we have Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. So I'm guessing Regal called this meeting. Burch says, hey, Undisputed Era, you guys won this number one contenders match. So Kyle, you should be the match. If you know what you want, you can choose one of us to be your partners. And Kyle's like, no, leaves to go check on Roddy. And then Regal kind of says, all right, well, now Lorcan and Burch, you're in the match instead.
After that, we had Xia Li versus Kacy Catanzaro. Kacy, she has some really, really fun I noticed this, so I wrote it down in my notes. Some of her offense is very clever and really fun. It just needs a lot more reps to make it like a half step quicker and more crisp. And she'll have a lot of really cool things going on.
I know,
because sort of see this here.
From the creativity standpoint, man, she's tops.
It's really good
like
stuff.
The way she utilizes her athleticism and meshes that with like traditional wrestling maneuvers. It's really cool. But you're totally right. Yeah, she just needs more reps. She pulls out a roll-up win over Xia Li. I did like that Xia was wrestling with a lot more urgency. Like you could tell this was a match that was hugely important for her. She loses, so she attacks Kacy from behind. Kaden Carter, who came down ringside with Kacy, is in there to help. She eats a boot from Xia Li. Li continues her attack on Kacy. Raquel Gonzalez hits the ring, destroys everybody. Gets on the mic, tells Rhea that this is what awaits her next week at Halloween Havoc. She says she's going to be La Diabla of Rhea's nightmare.
For those who don't know,
The devil.
I hope she wears. How about it's Halloween Havoc? She's La Diabla. Why didn't she come in like David Putty's devil mask and jersey?
New Jersey Devils jersey, exactly.
The devil. I am a vampire.
Devils suck.
We are vampires.
Such a good bit, man.
All right. So after that, Cameron Grimes was backstage. We got a walking interview with him. He's talking shit about Dexter Lumis. And then Mackenzie breaks it to him that Mr. Regal has decided that they will fight at Halloween Havoc in a haunted House of Terror match. Cameron Grimes does not like the sound of that. He's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure he wasn't? You just didn't misread his accent? Because sometimes his accent's kind of thick. He doesn't know what he's saying."
And meanwhile, Dexter Lumis is like creeping up behind. There's a door with a window in it. He's creeping up behind. Grimes doesn't see it. Grimes was really good here. He's like, "No, I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. I'm not afraid." But after I beat him at Halloween Havoc, I'm gonna go to the moon.
I'm gonna go to the moon, Mackenzie. That's what I'm gonna do.
And then walks away. It was really good.
We had a very brief Io Shirai Halloween Havoc video where she claims, regardless of what the type match is, she's gonna win. Then this is probably my bit of the night, to be honest with you. Live Thatch As Thatch Can. So Thatcher is in there with one of his students.
It's Anthony Green, recent signee from Evolve.
Oh, okay. I knew he looked familiar. Okay. So, but did he... Okay, so he said his name is Anthony.
Yeah.
And then Thatch said his name was Andrew. I thought it was the other way around, though. So
No, it's Anthony. It's Anthony.
Okay.
It's Anthony Green. And then Thatch also called him Alexander, I think.
Okay, so Thatch can't get his name right, which is always a great... We saw it just last night at AEW. That's always...
It's an easy pop for us.
It is, exactly. So yeah, he's going to teach some simple techniques tonight. He gets Andrew in sort of a chin lock. Andrew taps pretty much immediately. He says, "Okay, next up, Alexander, go for my leg." He does, but Thatch is able to pretty easily get him down into an arm triangle. And he says, "As you can see, I used his momentum against him and grabbed his arm, which was dangling. As you can see here, Andrew's already tapping, but there's still plenty of space to take it. I could take it all the way back. No pressure from me, all pain for him." So then he lets him. His cadence kills me. It cracks me up. So Anthony gets up. He looks pissed. Thatch gives him like a really condescending pat. Says, "Good job." And he says, "So now we know you can't take my leg. So here, take my wrist." And instead, Anthony totally tries to pull a Daniel Puder from back in the Tough Enough days when he shot on Kurt Angle. So he goes for the legs, grabs him in a chin lock, which Thatch can't get out of. Eventually, he lets go, and Thatch says, "All right, okay, tough man, good job. Referee, let's go ahead and take this up another notch." So he gets the referee in there, calls for the bell, and Thatch just lays him out with nothing but strikes. So it's basically nothing about Thatch As Thatch Can. He just starts stomping him, gives him a forearm, and then he taps him out with a knee bar, and the ref rings the bell, but of course he holds it on too long. And then he says, "Class dismissed." Thatcher can do no wrong in my book, man. He's so great. He's so great with this stuff.
He's pretty great. After that, we had a Damian Priest promo while he was getting a tattoo, talking about how he doesn't really seem to care about what stipulation comes about via spin the wheel, make the deal. Says he can handle the pain. Can you, Johnny Gargano?
Yeah. So the point is here, even through the pain of a tattoo, he can be cool and calm. Yeah. This had to have been his idea, right?
100%.
Here's an idea. I can take a lot of pain and still do a promo. I'll do a fake tattoo.
You should got what's like the most painful place to get a tattoo, like on your knuckles or something, on your hand?
So from what I understand, I've heard it's either around the nipple.
Oh yeah, that's right.
On the ribs.
Yeah, I can see how that hurts. It probably plays with like really thin skin. So I heard like the hand or the foot hurts.
Yeah. So after that, we had our main event. Breezango versus Lorcan and Burch for the tag team titles. Kneecap. Yeah, imagine kneecap's probably horrible.
Oh, that probably hurt. Yeah.
This again, this is the kind of match that you're going to get from Lorcan and Burch, and then Breezango, they step it up now that they're in NXT. Very physical stuff. Towards the finish, we see Tyler Breeze go up. Burch drops him with a cutter from there, goes for a pin. Fandango breaks it up. All the men are down. Breezango end up doling out some stereo super kicks to each member of Lorcan and Burch. Fandango goes up to do his top rope leg drop. Masked Man pushes him off.
Not Tully Blanchard this time, though.
Not Tully Blanchard, though. Burch, while the ref is distracted by that, hits a low blow on Breeze. They hit their finish for the 3 new tag champions. Masked Man comes in to celebrate. It's clearly Pat McAfee, but then he removes his mask, which is like a cool reflection, like a mirror mask type thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like shiny or plastic. It actually looked like metal.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So he takes it off. It's Pat McAfee, and he says, "Oh, it's the new tag champions," and he's preening and stuff. And that's how the episode ends. Yeah, so we'll open it up to questions now.
Sounds good. More injury stuff here.
Let's see here.
Here we go. Alex C., do you think Triple H will ever want to bring back that WCW 3-tier cell matches? That's the Doomsday Cage.
Yeah. No. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. Because what are you going to do? You can't. How many times did they have? The famous one.
They had 2 of those matches. They had the one with David Arquette. It was him, DDP, and Jarrett, and they had that one also where there was that team to destroy Hulkamania against Hogan and Savage and a couple other people.
Yeah,
I think those are the only 2 I could think of that had the 3-tier cage.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Let's see here.
Probably a reason they haven't had one of those matches in 20 years.
Yeah, Prince C. Ross. Thoughts on this scenario? Candace versus Io. The wheel lands on Shotzi's choice. She makes it a triple threat, adds herself to the match. That'd be rad. That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
It's kind of. I don't know. It's not like a purely heel thing, but it's definitely an opportunistic thing. I'm not sure if Shotzi, if it'd be in her character to take advantage of something like that.
If it says it's your choice.
I choose to be in this match. Yeah.
Crossface chicken stain. It would be smart. Says, I just hope it's a program that can elevate Lorcan and Burch. Well, they already got the titles, so that helps a lot.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Angel Uriel, thank you for the sub.
Thomas Dunnigan says, would Karrion Kross be a good opponent for Balor to bring back the Demon? It's Karrion Kross's entrance is very elaborate. So I don't know, maybe. Sure, people seem to like the Demon. I'm indifferent.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent about the Demon too. Night by Night, other than their theme, what songs would you most like to see Killian and Drake dance to?
Any Robbie Williams.
Oh, interesting.
Like Millennium.
What's that one? Party songs. Rock anthem.
Oh yeah,
FAO.
Party Rockin' in the House. That one.
Yeah. Whatever it's called.
That's a good one. Isn't that what it's just called? Party Rock Anthem? I thought that's what
so.
Yeah, I think that's just what it's called.
What about Back to the Hotel?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a slower tempo.
Yeah.
Back to the Hotel. We talked about that already. Let's see here.
Oh, Bobby Brown's Ghostbusters 2 song.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Call the Ghostbusters in there. In control. Too hot to handle. Let's see. Alex Foster. What hold would you ask Thatcher to teach you? And he says, keep in mind, he'd probably put you in it first.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the knee the most painful thing to take?
It would be the most debilitating because you take the knee, they can't stand up.
Yeah. Like a left wrist lock. I don't use my left wrist for a whole lot, so I'd give up my left wrist.
Seems like the only. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say the only on top of that is that it's a good move to know to get wrist control. If you're in a bar fight, I would think that would be the easiest appendage to latch onto.
Yeah, exactly. I would think so too, because if you're in a busy bar, maybe there's tight quarters, you can't really work a leg,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So it has to be something upper body.
If somebody points at you, now you have wrist control.
I'll say this, something like a rear naked choke. I'm sure Thatch knows how far he can go with it without knocking somebody out potentially permanently.
Yeah.
The person passes out, he'll let go. I'll pass out, I'll wake up, be like, whoa, that was weird. But then I'll know how to do it. And so if I'm in a bar fight, bang.
Oh, wow.
Chokehold.
Okay. I like it. That's good.
That's something you can do in tight quarters.
Perfect.
Jeffrey says, is Austin Theory just the finest 2.0? He's a better wrestler than Kona Reeves is.
Oh, yeah. Sleazy Mo. Wade and Vic agree to have a costume contest at Halloween Havoc. What costumes should they wear? To mess with Wade, Vic should go as John Cena.
Totally, 100%. 100%.
And to show that he has a sense of humor, Wade should be John Cena.
John Cena, yeah. White Brownie, with the chances of Io and Rhea losing next week and getting called up, or what are the chances? Which brand do you send them to, and how do you debut them? Io to Raw, Rhea to SmackDown. And then you waste no time in getting a program set up between Io and Asuka.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Because I think that's going to be spectacular.
Yeah. The Rain Trigger. What current pay-per-view from any show has the worst name and which has the best name? I'm going to say the worst name is Summer Struggle from New Japan, because it's just if even the branding, it just looks like a poor man's version of SummerSlam. It looks like when you go to the 99-cent store and it's like superhero and it's like a poorly painted Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not great.
The best name.
I mean, WrestleMania is awesome. It's a great
WrestleMania
name.
is a great name. But I also again, so I'll go back to King of Pro Wrestling is a great name.
That's good.
That's a good name.
Wrestle Kingdom's great too.
Wrestle Kingdom's a great name. It really is. Strong Style Evolved. I was always a fan of that name.
Yeah, that's a good name too.
I also like that New Japan just had a show called Strong.
Mm-hmm. I think they have one now just called Never. They're about to have
I didn't know that. That's great.
Never. Never. Awkward Vegas, what's your favorite Halloween themed match? It's Chamber of Horrors, man.
Chamber of Horrors. Clearly, there's an electric chair in the middle of the match.
Totally Chamber of Horrors.
Moses Opposes. This is a good question here. We didn't talk about this. What should the faction name be now of McAfee, Burch, Oni, and the fourth man brother? Let's say it was supposed to be Ridge Holland. What are you going to call these guys? Even Lorcan and Burch didn't even have their own name. They just were Lorcan and Burch. Let's see here. Ridge.
I mean, if you take their first names, it's Rod.
This. You got Burch, Oni, Ridge, and McAfee. Borm.
Borm. Rod M.
Rod M. That's great. Rod M is the name.
Rod M.
Rod M.
Zondo asks, why weren't the Undisputed Era near each other? I assume they all sat on the monkey bars listening to their music. Yeah, it was weird. It's like one of them goes to craft service to get a bag of chocolate chip cookies, bang, attacked. The other one goes to get a bottle of water, bang, attacked.
I think Strong was coming out of the pisser.
Oh.
I think he was, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why do these guys keep on separating? And then I saw he was like, he's probably like, hey, Kyle, I've got to take my pre-match crap.
Wiping his still somewhat wet hands on his pants or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Had his hands down, he couldn't defend himself.
So like McAfee, assuming he was the attacker, I guess, McAfee would have probably had to smell Roderick Strong's crap.
Yeah, his duty.
So like, I guess Strong gets some sort of dub there.
I guess so. Anthony, we have Drake and Killian. What other guys could make for an odd couple that works? Somebody with Damian Priest, please.
Yeah. I want it like Cameron Grimes and Damian Priest. I want to see as an odd couple tag team.
There you go. Put them together for the Dusty Classic.
I don't want to go to the moon. I'm afraid of heights. Not afraid of anybody else, but just heights.
Crossface Chicken Stained. Will the Gargano way prevail this time with both champs being very cocky? I'd be shocked if at least one of them doesn't win.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's going to be one of these things, man. You know how like with AEW, we were like, oh, it's their anniversary show. Big things are afoot. This might just be, oh, it's Halloween Havoc. We're just going to enjoy the cheesiness of it, and they're all going to lose. Like the status quo remains.
The only reason I feel like one of them has to win because they just had those matches not that long ago, and they both lost fairly decisively.
I know.
What point is there in having these rematches unless it's going to push the story one way or the other?
Well, here's the flip side of that, though, is that they have an easy out for reasons why they lost because they're not going to be regular wrestling matches. So they lose them, and they're like, well, Johnny could say, well, what the hell? That wheel got me again, Yeah,
that's why I feel like it's more likely Candice would win than Johnny.
I
mean, I picked Candice to win the last takeover because I felt
on the other hand, Candice was really confident this week, and Johnny wasn't. That might be the flip side. She loses, he wins.
I don't know
either. I don't know.
Dang MQ says Pat said in his show that he's not currently in wrestling shape because he's been watching too much football.
Yeah. And Shive. Yeah. Okay. So he asked, is this thing leading to war games? Certainly seems to be the case. Dr. Steve Winters, given her experience in theater, who would you have Ember Moon perform a musical number with? MJF.
Oh, who in NXT?
MJF back when he was Samoa Joe's bodyguard.
All right, very well.
I don't know who else could do. Adam Cole.
Dexter Lumis.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Dexter Lumis.
Oh, this is good. Alex Foster says plot twist: Adam Cole hired Ridge Holland to attack Adam Cole.
Oh, what about Adam Cole hires Pat McAfee to hire Ridge Holland to attack Adam Cole?
To attack Adam Cole. I like it. That's good.
There's enough steps in there where Adam Cole can have plausible deniability. Why would I pay someone to hire someone to attack me?
Yeah. That's all we have.
Yeah, that's all I got here.
All right. White Brownie says, "Did you guys see McAfee's post-match speech?" No. Was White Brownie the one who mentioned? I don't know to you, but to me, certainly, that the network's Twitter feed has that or something along the lines. And maybe he explains the motivation. So I'll have to look into that. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's episode, NordVPN. Sometimes the internet can be a great place, but it could also be very scary, full of hackers trying to shoot on your personal data.
But you can protect yourself with NordVPN. NordVPN offers double data encryption and lets you browse the web in private because NordVPN prevents data logging. In fact, NordVPN will never track, collect, or share your data because they have a strict no-log policy.
And NordVPN is compatible with most operating systems, including Windows, Mac OS, Linux, iOS, and Android, and offers 24/7 product support and a 30-day money-back guarantee to ensure your satisfaction.
NordVPN also has a super handy and user-friendly Chrome extension and provides unlimited bandwidth on super fast servers with up to 6 simultaneous connections.
And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 68% off NordVPN. That's only $3.71 a month. Plus, you get an additional month free at nordvpn.com/raw or use coupon code RAW.